Hey guys, welcome back to Rad City Design Studio. I'm Mary, and this week I have a crazy idea. I've never seen anyone else do it, and I'm not sure if it's going to work. So I thought I would bring you along on my experiment to see what I can do with this. So like I said, I have an idea. I hope it's gonna work. We're gonna find out together. So let's get started. I'm going to just note which side of this is the back side. So this front side here that looks really glossy, this has a protective film on it. This is the top side. So like when you go to apply this onto a shirt or whatever, this is the side that would face up. So I'm gonna just draw like a little star or something over here in the corner, just to basically tell myself this side is face down, and I'm going to put one in each corner because I'm sure at some point I will cut this apart. Okay, so the stars indicate the back side of this film. Now, the reason I did that is because I actually need to peel this plastic sheet off. I need to take this plastic sheet off and expose the front. So this usually takes a little elbow grease. I'm gonna just zoom through this really quickly. Okay, so I've taken the plastic cover sheet off. This does kind of like roll up a little bit, but that's okay. I think that'll be fine. Now you may, depending on the brand you're using, you may have some of the plastic sheet, the adhesive that they use to apply it. It may get left behind, and if that's the case, you can usually just like rub it right off. Or if you really had to, you could put some alcohol on it to dissolve it. But I think we're good. So we have a pretty decent blank canvas. So I'm gonna start first by adding some of this. This is mostly to give it texture. So I'm going to put a good healthy dollop of this. Okay, so just kind of placed it wherever. And now I'm just going to use the sheet itself to move that around a little bit and kind of get it all over. And if I see areas where it's really texturized like that, that's awesome. That's exactly what I'm looking for so far. Actually, I think what I'm gonna do is place a little bit of tape around the edges to keep it from curling in on itself like this. I'm gonna spray it with some of this. This is a Ranger alcohol ink, and it's by their brand called Dilutions, which I think is really cute. So this one is turquoise vine. So I'm just going to hit it with a few drips. Some spaces are going to be more bright and vivid, some are going to be less so. And what I'm really hoping for is, so what I'm searching for here are little patterns where the ink like peeled away from itself and creates these little ridges and divots. I think those end up looking really cool. I'm happy with the way this looks. For the most part, it's dried up, so like these little milky areas are good to go. I'm gonna add a touch of Picasso alcohol ink in magenta. This is such a pretty pink color, and I'm just going to kind of like, and then I'm just going to bend it over and give it the opportunity to kind of spread around a little bit. There we go. That looks cool. Getting a little interpretive in there. Okay, let's add some gold. I'm all about excess. If you haven't caught on yet, I will always go with more glam, please. the idea is just to keep doing this until you like what you see. So I'm actually going to spray a little bit more of this green. Give it some layer. And then I'm going to attempt a little bit more of this too. Okay, yeah, that's a lot. But that's okay, because that's what kind of, again, what I'm going for is excess. So it's looking very nostalgic. I don't know. I just love these colors together. Okay, I put a dollop of white here. I'm just gonna like spread that around a little bit. So now that we've made a massive mess, I'm gonna do two things. I'm gonna sprinkle a tiny bit of this gold flake around, and like by a tiny bit, I mean I'm just gonna like basically whatever falls out and doesn't fly away. I was telling my husband, like, I love how this stuff looks, but I hate that it just, maybe I'm just trying to use it in a room that it's just not gonna work, but maybe I'm just using it in front of the fan, like too close to the fan. But I love how this stuff looks. I just hate that it just completely flies away all the time, and it's so unruly and unmanageable. I think I'd have better luck with the actual sheets of it. Okay. And then I'm just gonna use a bit of paper towel just to kind of dab it so that this stuff sticks down. Like, I just like to play around and experiment and see kind of, you know, what things do when you treat them certain ways. Okay, so we're gonna give this, I'm gonna give this maybe like an hour or so to dry. And then when I come back, we're going to keep moving forward with the project. See you in a bit. Okay, so my canvas is dry. And again, this is just a heat transfer vinyl. And all of my paint is dry. For the most part, my gold leaf is sticking. And the next thing that I'm gonna do is turn this into bracelets. And to do that, I have these Impress Art brass bracelets. So these are just like normally used for stamping. So if you have like a stamp tool, you can write stuff on it. You know what I'm talking about. If you don't, I can definitely explain it more in a different video. But what I'm going to do is take these, at least take a couple out of here. And essentially, I'm gonna try to like sublimate my canvas onto these blanks. I'm gonna start off with one, see how it goes, and then take it from there. So I took one out of the package, and they are gonna come with a film on it that you just remove to expose it. That way it doesn't get all scratched up in shipping. And I'm going to take this one off. And I'm going to try to figure out where I want to pull from, and I really kind of love this little smattering of gold. So I'm gonna lay it under there, and then I'm just gonna try to, actually, let me try to do closer to the edge in case I don't like how it turns out. There we go. So I want to just get a lot of variety of color. So like right here to right there, that's where we're looking at. And this is dry, but my hands have acrylic paint on them, so it's causing it to stick to each other. Yeah, so this actually had a little plate in it. This is probably just for this specific product, but like there's this little plastic thing that's the same shape as the blank, and if I kind of lay this over where that blank is, I can see kind of what my piece will look like. And I like that. I like that area. I also kind of like this area over here where there's more like that. So something like this. Yeah, I kind of like this. So I think I'm going to start there for two reasons. One, it's going to be over here on the side, so if it all goes to hell, I won't damage anything. And then also because I like kind of how that looks. So I'm going to take this and turn it over. Take the tape off and put it on here. Okay, so 2 seconds, I'm gonna go ahead and stick all this back down. What I'm gonna do is take my mini iron, it's a little Cricut mini iron, and I'm going to just turn it on full blast, like that. Give that a few minutes to heat up. I'm gonna place it over here on my heat stone. And then what I'm gonna do, because this is heat transferred vinyl, it's not exactly sublimation because that is a specific type of material, but I'm hoping that I can get the heat transfer vinyl to cause this film to stick to the brass bracelet cuff piece. So once this heats up, and it usually goes pretty quickly, once that's heated, I'm gonna cover this with a paper towel and iron it. If that works nicely, then I'm gonna move on and do a couple of others. So my mini iron is fully heated. Again, gonna lay a paper towel over this just to give it like a little bit of a buffer, because I don't want the heat transfer vinyl to accidentally stick to this. And again, so this is the back side. We noted that by the little stars we drew, and the paint that we put on the vinyl is on the front side. So I'm just going to kind of go back and forth like this, just to give it good even heat. And I think if you were doing a bunch of these at once and you had like the large heat press, that would work out even better. I have one of those, but I don't have a lot of workspace on my desk, so I didn't pull that one out. Okay, turn it around, and it looks like the paper towel wanted to stick to the vinyl, which is what I was expecting and why I used it in the first place. And let's see, I'm gonna pull this away best I can. Okay, I'm gonna set the rest of it aside and put this off to the side as well. And hopefully this didn't just melt directly to, here we go. Okay, this one looks a little crazy. I should have done this on a piece of silicone. That's okay. I kind of like how it looks though. These little white spaces, I think I want to put more, let's see, fuchsia is a little bit more pinky. So I'm going to set this aside for now. Let's try another one. This time, let's see, what can I lay it on that I know it's not going to stick to? The heat transfer vinyl came on. Oh, that's hot. Be warm. Okay, and my game plan here is to lay this down like that. And then lay this directly on top. And I'm gonna start down here at the bottom and kind of work my way upward. And I want to avoid having this touch the actual iron. So I'm gonna lay down a piece of paper towel to iron over. So let's see, I wanna get a little bit of color, a little bit of the gold. So I'm gonna do it through like right here. I'll lay this down. And then I'm going to just use my iron. So here. I'm just gonna keep going back and forth over it so that it heats evenly. And basically the heat is going to cause that brass to heat up and kind of make that underside melt. And that's what we're aiming for. So just very steady, even heat. Definitely make sure you focus on the ends a little bit because those tend to be the parts when you're doing heat transfer vinyl. The edges are the parts that tend to mess up most frequently. So I'm just going through, heating my way along. Now I'm going to set my iron aside on my heat stone, and I'm probably gonna leave this to cool down a little bit because it is extremely hot. So we'll come back, I'll pull this off, we'll take a look and see how it did and see if this idea actually worked. Okay, so I was finally able to get this off of the acetate. That was not the right way to go. I had to do it twice because it just was not working. So I found a better, more consistent method. So just 2 silicone pads. I have them on the matte side. So I'm gonna preheat this piece of brass so that when I go to stick this down, it will stick a little bit more nicely. Hopefully I can get it down on time. And then hopefully that will cause it to stick to, yeah, it's super hot, like that. Ah, it's sticking. So would it have been better just to paint these? Probably. Like if I just painted them with white paint, that probably would have been just fine. But I wanted to make sure that I could get some cool color variations and stuff. So, you know, what's life without a little bit of experimenting? So I'm going to trim away the excess to make it easier. I really love this upper edge here, so I might try to salvage that too. I'm just going to trim this away. Okay. And yeah, so I have a little bit of less to deal with. And I'm going to lay down some paper towel. Yeah, see, the first time I did it, like, total fail. Okay, so I'm gonna just use this paper towel to slowly go along and heat this. And once again, I'm doing even strokes, being sure to concentrate on the ends. And I just want to make sure that I'm getting that heat evenly distributed, because I want, ultimately, the goal is to have this kind of sublimate itself to that blank. Like that. Okay, I'm gonna trim away even more of the excess, and this is gonna be very hot, so I'm gonna very gently pick it up. And it would be a great idea to, if you decided you wanted to try this, to get some heat resistant gloves. I should probably pick some up. Okay. I think this would also be really cool to do like marble dipping or hydro dipping. If you just put the white directly on the brass and then dropped it into the hydro dip solution, I think that would look so cool. Definitely something to think about for next experiment. Okay. And I'm not trying to aim for like perfect right now. I'm just trying to get off as much excess as I possibly can. Like that. Okay, and then this folded over, which I don't want. Might have to try to peel this away entirely. I'm gonna leave this stuff in so that you can see that even the best laid plans don't always go exactly the way you want them to. So let's try one more time. It could be that this entire idea was just a terrible fail. And if that's the case, I'm okay with that. All right, how about this time? I'm gonna lay all right, this time I'm gonna just kind of lay it like that. Okay, gonna let this cool and then trim around and then do another pass over the back of it here. I also have some black aluminum blanks as well. I'm gonna try these too. So, so once again, I'm gonna lay this on here to get this warm. Now, aluminum does not carry heat very well, so hopefully I can get it warm enough for a piece of this to stick. So let's see, where do I want to go with it? And I don't need it to stick a lot, just a little bit. So, like that. Nope, not far enough. Actually, it should be fine. I can just put more over there. And then I'm just gonna kind of mash it down everywhere. If you've never met any, or if you don't know if you've met anyone with ADHD, this is what their brain looks like. It literally exactly like this inside. I promise that behind every polished video that I put out, this is usually the chaos that's going on in the back, in the background. Next time I try this, I'm definitely gonna do sublimation paper instead of this, because this is not working the way I want it to. or it is actually working how I wanted it to. It's just not coming out how I was expecting it to. And that's two different problems to have. And not necessarily a bad problem. Nope, it didn't stick again. I am just gonna not even bother. Okay, I should be done with the iron now. I turned it off and I'm gonna let it cool for a minute and then I will put it away. So this is how this sample turned out. I did get some lifting of the acrylic paint right here, and I'm going to just kind of fill that in with a bit of alcohol ink, and I like to use this pretty pink color. So I'm just gonna kind of like splash it in there like that. And then tip it. It's a bit more red than I was going for. That's a bit better. Let's hit it with a little bit of alcohol ink. Okay, that's a little bit better. And just kind of give it a few more little brushes of it. Okay, so I'm gonna give this some time to really cool down. These should be good to go over here. And I kind of want to give this one a little bit of this pink color as well, like that. There we go. And we'll put a little down here. Okay, so that just gives it a good little coating. Now, a couple of things that I'm going to do at this point. I'm going to do both of these at the same time. Step one, I'm going to try and trim the edges here as close as possible to the brass. Now, all of this in the back here, it should buff out, but it's also mostly just acrylic paint. So you can just use some alcohol, isopropyl alcohol to kind of dissolve any of that stickiness back there. I'm just absolutely refusing to go get another pair of gloves. Okay, and I'm just gonna put a fairly thick line right down the center. And I'm going to use my little tool to get that to spread nice and evenly. Okay, so while it's still warm, I'm gonna run my razor blade along the edges to knock off as much as I can of this excess. Now, it won't peel all of it away, so I may have to bust out a rotary tool, but I'm just trying to get as much as I can to just kind of pull away a little bit. Okay, so I've cured all of my pieces. I cleaned up the edges. This one, because the piece is black, you can see that it kind of scrubbed some of that away. So to mask that, I'm going to use my gold pen. Okay, so I'm going to take my gold pen, give it a little shake. Just make sure that it is running. And then I'm going to give this one a gold edge. So just one quick, I think I'm running out of I think this is starting to run out, which is a shame because I love it. So I'll have to order another one. And I love how it dries, because it dries in such like a gorgeous, almost enamel sort of way. And then when I am completely finished with these, I am gonna give them a coating of acrylic, like crystal sealant, just to keep everything from chipping away. And I mean, realistically, depending on how you're gonna shape this, you could do that with just the resin itself. But I am actually attempting to bend it using a tool, so I don't want it to be too thick. I'm going to give this one a chance to dry, and I'm going to start with these two smaller ones. Now I have this cuff bending tool, and the way it works is you put your piece in here and then you bend it over that, so like this, and then very slowly, as carefully as you can, you just start bending it. And I want to do this slowly because I don't want my resin to crack or peel or anything like that. I'm just going to slowly coax it this way. Then I'm going to turn it around, put it in there again, and then do the exact same thing on the other side until it curves into place. Like that. Now, my wrists are very weak, so I didn't get a great bend on the side of it. So what I'll do is just kind of press it against a table or something, and then just very slowly and carefully push down until those sides come in. And then I've got a little cuff bracelet. Now, if you'd prefer your bracelet to be more round, you could definitely get a mandrel of some sort like this, and then put it maybe toward the top here, and then kind of clinch it around like that. And then that is going to give it a bit of a rounder effect. And then you can play with this and decide, you know, like how you want it exactly to bend. I want this to kind of go a little bit more nicely. So I'm going to try with this one more time. And in my experience, like the further that you push this down into this little channel, the more straight it's going to be. So if you go a little bit higher, when you go to do that first bend, it's going to give you a more strong shape. So that's one down. Love how it looks so far. It's so cute. Okay, I'm going to do this one now. God, I might keep this one. It's so pretty. Okay, again, I'm gonna just, and another reason why I didn't put so much resin on this is because I don't want it to not fit in here. But again, I'm gonna try and go like just a tiny bit like that. And then once again, I'm just slowly and carefully, you can feel a lot of resistance in it. So I'm just trying to guide it where I want it to go, very, very slowly. Okay. And then again, I'm gonna just kind of help it round out by kind of twisting it around this guy. All of these products, everything I've used today, you can find at a local craft store, or you could go down into the description and find all of these tools available through Amazon or Michael's or wherever I may have purchased them. So this last piece, it might be a little too thick. I'm hoping not. Should be okay. And then again, just slowly and carefully bending it. Okay, so this is what I was afraid of, and I think it's because I made this too thick. The resin here is too thick. So this actually popped off and is now wanting to just pull away. So I'm just going to take that off. Kind of. And I may be able to preserve that. Like that would probably be an okay bookmark or something. So and now I'm left with kind of like a wonky mess here. I think that if this had been brass, it probably would have worked better. Aluminum does not transfer heat very well, or it doesn't conduct heat very well, I should say. But I do think that the issue is that the resin was on there too thick. So now instead I can just maybe hydro dip this or something. I'll peel away any of the paint that's sticking up. But even just like a couple of spritzes of something will kind of like redeem that. There we go. Okay, so definitely I don't think that the I don't think that the aluminum works the best. Brass worked really nicely, and it also looks super elegant inside. And again, I'm gonna go through and polish all of this up, but this turned out really cute. So I'll figure out something to do with this guy. Now, overall, did this project work? I would say, and I still kind of have a little bit of it left, I would say a few things that I learned after going through all of this. I think it would be more effective to maybe make my image on another piece of paper or on a jelly plate and then transfer it onto the film. And then also maybe like once I peeled it off of that plastic acetate, I could just lay it back on, but upside down. That way it kind of keeps it in place, because it was kind of like really unwieldy. It likes to curl up, it likes to stick together to itself. But I do think that it worked exactly how I wanted it to. It just took me a little bit of practicing and kind of playing with things to figure out exactly what I wanted it to, exactly what I was going for. I do love how they turned out though. They're super pretty. And I think we should take them over to the light box and see what, how they turned out. Overall, I think these turned out really cool. I definitely want to play with this process some more and figure out the best order of operations. Now that I've done it a couple of times, I think I'd have more success. But I think it was a cool experiment. I like the end product, and hopefully you enjoyed it as well. And it's giving you some ideas of different things that you can try in your own studio. So if you do, let me know about it. I have a Facebook, I have an Instagram. I have a TikTok. I also have the comment sections here in YouTube. Please give me some feedback. Let me know what you're liking about this channel and what I could do better in the future. I hope you had a great time today. Go make something awesome this week. And as always, stay rad. If you want to learn even more about making your own jewelry or jewelry to sell, check out how I made these earrings.